getting ready for the season. It begins a week from Thursday. Clippers second in the West. They're 5.5 back of the Lakers, game and a half in front of third in the West, Nuggets. Whoa, 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 it's Magic and it's Paul George. Tying the game early. Tensions running high, 6-6. George again, rocking the suburbs just like Jack Harlow does. Orlando is 8th in the East, but 5 games in front of Washington. So the Magic should be able to hold on to that spot. Half game back of Brooklyn. You want to avoid Milwaukee for 7th. Look at Kawhi. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Third quarter. Magic down 10, Aaron Gordon to Vucci Main. Vucevic at 18 and 10. There's Paul George again. And then the Jack Show, Reggie Jackson to George. George, 18 points. 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Clippers win by 9.
All right, Nuggets taking on the Wizards. Denver a little short-handed. Nikola Jokic listed as guard for the starting lineup.
Oh? Me playing every other position, the center. That's my favorite. And I don't know. I mean, just to see, I think it's going to be for other guys to see how tough, how hard it is to play some other position. So I think it's going to be fun.
I mean, he has slimmed down, but he's not a guard. But he passes like one and always has. There to bowl. Inside little layup. Then still in the first, Jokic's like, get at me, dog. Knocking down the 3. 16 points, 7 assists, 7 boards. He's good to go. But let's go to bowl, because my man is out here just young, wild, and free. Little block there. Looking the other way. Oh, he's taking it all the way?
Heck yeah.
Oh, is he going to pull up from 3? Okay, bowl.
How about the bench?
Show him who you're dealing with, son. And if you remember the name Bowl, Manute Bowl, yes. It's a family. He may be way better than Manute. I'm feeling already.
He moves better.
Yes, he does. And how about that range? He's like 7'13" or something. He's so tall. 16 points, 10 boards, 6 blocks. Nuggets win it by 7. Prior to the opening of the NBA bubble, there were several players who had reservations about going to Orlando to restart the season because they felt it would limit or even prevent them from continuing their work on social justice issues. Messages on floors and jerseys are one thing, but it's the ongoing conversations that matter the most to some players in this regard. And as we have witnessed over the last couple of days, several players are using the league's daily media sessions as a means of keeping certain names in the public's collective memory.
Most importantly, I take this time to give my condolences to the family of the Taylors. Breonna Taylor, rest in peace. George Floyd, rest in peace. There's so many others out there that have been convicted by, or that have been brutally murdered by the hands of police. That's all I got. That's my message for everyone. And that will continue to be my answer.
Anything today that you ask me about basketball, I'm just going to respond with, we need justice for Breonna Taylor.
We are all so united. You know, we might not have to be on the same team, but, you know, we still united in this league, man. So, like I said, man, just want to keep the focus on Breonna Taylor's killers and, you know, keep that going, man, because it's still going on in the world, man.
The undefeated NBA senior writer Marc Spears joins us now here on SportsCenter from the bubble. Marc, clearly the NBA players are making a concerted effort to keep the names of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd in the public discussion. I know you talked to some players about this effort. What was your greatest takeaway from what they're trying to accomplish?
Well, Paul George mentioned George Floyd and Breonna Taylor tonight. Donovan Mitchell mentioned Breonna Taylor. It seems there's been an uptick of mentions of Breonna Taylor, understandably so this week. So actually earlier today, I talked to Chris Paul, who's the president of the Players Association, and he said they had a Zoom call with Breonna Taylor's mom, and this is the players, on Sunday. About 40 players attended. It was very emotional, very educational. Her mother told them the whole story in detail and what they hope to accomplish and what she also hopes in terms of the players keeping, you know, Breonna Taylor's name, constantly saying her name out here in Orlando. So Chris Paul, he's going to continue it as well. And he said, hey, first game of the season, He didn't want to give me anything, but look for him to have something really special, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Breonna Taylor related.
Yeah, so many of the players were committed to keeping these discussions going despite them being there quarantined in that bubble while they play this shortened season, and clearly that is starting as we speak. Marc Spears there in Orlando.
Will Mike Trout get to play in a playoff game this year?
I hope so.
He turns 29 in August. He's played in 3 playoff games with 15 plate appearances. But first it was, will Mike Trout even play this year?
Obviously, since last time I talked to you guys, I was up in the air about playing. Obviously, I'm playing.
Courtesy of the crowd.
He was 1 for 12 in that one playoff series back in 2014 against the Royals. And Joey Lucchesi gets him there of the Padres. Padres haven't finished over 500 since 2010. Tough decade. 70 wins last year. They hope to get more this year with Manny Machado and company against some really promising young players. Those uniforms are dope. I like those things. Padres take a 3-1 lead there. So you can watch the Angels on our air Friday. Meanwhile, Mookie Betts and the Dodgers. Yeah, they have a new deal. Betts has been locked up for the next decade plus. He and the Dodgers agree to terms on a 12-year extension worth $365 million, according to our Jeff Passan. So here it is, the day before they get things done to open up the season. Betts has had at least 100 runs, 40 doubles, and 20 home runs in each of the last 4 seasons. That's tied for the longest such streak in big league history. You see, only Cano and Pujols have matched the streak. Each member of the group have won multiple Silver Slugger awards as well in their careers. Let's continue the Mookie Betts talk with ESPN baseball analyst Jessica Mendoza. Jessica, what do you think of the big bag that Mookie got?
I'm pumped. I know there's a lot of skepticism because it's 12 years, it's a length of time, but let's face it, Mookie Betts is one of the biggest stars in the game, and I'm excited that he is going to play for one of the biggest franchises, and we're going to see him for a long time. There is no one, I feel like, body type-wise, personality-wise, set up for a major, huge contract better than Mookie Betts for over a decade because of what he's able to not only do in these next 5 or 6 years, but even on the back end, where, again, there's a lot of skepticism. I mean, he is a small stature guy, super athletic, and it's not that Albert Pujols, huge person, that as you're starting to age, you see those numbers start to decline. I am pumped, not only for LA, but for baseball, because we get to see a whole lot more of Mookie Betts.
Absolutely. More with Jessica in a moment, but first, we asked our friends at MLB The Show 20 to simulate what the first 102 games would have brought us had the pandemic not wiped out away those games. And there were some serious surprises in the standings. Bryce Harper's Phillies, they were in first place with Max Scherzer and Juan Soto and the defending champions right on their heels. Watch out for Soto. Let's check out those simulated standings. And the Red Sox with a solid lead in the AL East. Cleveland with a commanding double-digit lead in the Central. Big surprise out west, the Angels and Mike Trout. Remember, he has only seen the postseason once. They lead the West. And in the NL, the Phillies with a tight lead over those Nationals in the East. The Central, the Cubs and Brewers are in a close race, separated by 2 games. And out west in the NL, as one would expect, Mookie and the Dodgers are rolling. So, more with Jessica Mendoza now, back in real life here. Some surprises in those simulated standings. Which teams do you like to surprise in this 60-game reality sprint?
You know, I'm actually with them on the Phillies. I mean, this is a team that, first of all, the NL East is going to be the toughest division in all of baseball. It's going to get fun. You watch those teams battle. You got the defending champs, you got the Braves, you got the Mets, and then of course this Phillies team that isn't really getting a lot of attention except for what you just mentioned with MLB The Show. And think about Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto. By the way, Didi Gregorius comes over. Andrew McCutchen is now healthy. Aaron Nola, Jake Arrieta on their pitching staff. I can go on and on, but Joe Girardi is their new manager, and I just get excited about what this team's going to do, but they're not getting a ton of attention, which I think is a great thing for a team to come in and surprise. I also say watch out in the AL for Tampa Bay Rays. The Yankees are kind of stealing the show right now, but those Tampa Bay, I mean, they'll play spoiler. You just watch.
They are loaded with some talent. You can tell she loves the game, and that's why we love Jessica Mendoza. Thanks on SportsCenter.
All right, still ahead, Rudy Gobert sits down with our Lisa Salters to discuss getting back on the court and what it was like as the NBA's first player to test positive for coronavirus.